Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while. For those of you who don't remember me, or if this is your first time watching my channel, I'm Dr. Sarah E. Crow. Since there are certain words that I know I can't use on here, I'm going to do something else instead. Okay, and that thing I'm going to do instead is, it's really loud, hit a gong. I also want to make sure that I telling you about a few updates to the channel that I'm going to be making, because really originally when I thought up this channel, it was largely, yes, due to how I was seeing people act towards people with breast cancer as if it was just nothing, or going out of their way to actually pick on them, especially like on forums where people, like the fact that, and I know that most men do not do this. Don't make it out to be like I'm saying, oh, all guys just troll breast cancer sites and tell them how they're awful and they're taking all the money and blah blah blah. And then it turns out if you ask them if they have cancer, they not only don't, they've never had it. They just want to. There's just a few guys out there who, for some reason, want to tell women they're terrible. Seeing those things was bad enough, but then also I was noticing it with really any kind of thing that dealt with severe illness or disabilities, or even just aging at times, because there are so many people who are so rude to old people and act like there's nothing to learn from them, and almost like their life is just completely meaningless, like they're not even human. And that's just really upsetting to me for a lot of reasons, but it's not funny, to put people down for that, especially towards what could be the end of their life, and, where they question, like, if their life mattered. And I know that I do, and if I had died, like, 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have questioned it. I would, because I knew then that I had made an impact on quite a few people's lives. I don't know. I know I helped a lot of people, and I need to remember that just in general. And so many people have told me that, and I've tried to be a good person most of my life. But I've never like talked about it too much to people, because I don't understand people who go on and on and on. Well, I do, but I wouldn't want to be one of those people who goes on and on about how good of a person they are because they volunteer. I'm like, no, this doesn't make you a good person. I mean, do you actually help the people? Do you listen to them? Did you change in any way? Um, then you can know if you actually help them. And on top of that, you see that a lot in the breast cancer community. There's these, like, all the time, there's like, I don't know why it is that I lived, but since I did, I must be here for a reason. And, I hope to inspire, women out there with my story. And I'm like, how so? Like, what about it's inspiring? Like, cause they'll talk about, being your own advocate. Don't tell you how. And I highly doubt that they really are much of one, because with what they write, they'll just talk about how I had the best doctors and the best nurses, and my husband is so great, and my family's so great, and my friends are so great. And then I'm like, well, you didn't really. I mean, I still feel bad because, cancer is horrible, but thank goodness you ended up without, like, with minimal damage, you know? Like, that's not most people's stories, but those are stories that you usually see online or in magazines, I guess, because somehow that gives people hope. I'm guessing more so for people without cancer than with it, because I just don't get it. Like, and they always say how, like, they didn't value their life enough before cancer, and cancer made them grateful for their life. And to me, that's gross. It's like, I loved my life before cancer, you know? Cancer took everything away from me. It didn't take a horrible disaster, tragedy, for me to love my family and to care about people and to care about living. Um, Also, there's a thing called inspiration within the community about those types of stories that just make people feel, you know, so inspired, but then they don't go do anything. You know, and that's the problem. Is like, and there's nothing about most patient stories that make it to most of the more mainstream patient magazines that would make you inspired to change anything about your life or to help out or see life from a new perspective. Unless, I guess, you hate your family and your life and your kids and whatever else like the inspiring people do, and are like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't hate my kids. Speaking of kids, we'll go on to another topic here. Did you know that breast cancer is no longer just for adults anymore? Yeah. I hate that that's true. I'm not exaggerating at all. Breast cancer originally was a disease considered to be more for the middle aged. Basically, you know, when you're in your late 40s, early 50s, maybe up to 60 or so, but like, it wasn't really seen, like, it was a postmenopausal disease for sure. And for a very long time, even after young adult women and men started getting it, especially women though, because the numbers are drastically different. Hey, more breaking news. As you can probably tell, it's a different day, wearing different clothing. um, Basically, with this video, I've been interrupted a lot, and I was gonna try to just do it off the top of my head one day, but so much has gone on, and I'm just gonna try to basically finish this up right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go on with breast cancers, not just for adults anymore, because this is really a depressing topic, I feel like, and it needs to be talked about. And then also, like I said, go back to a little bit more of changes I'm going to make to the page, and then just real quick a few things that have happened with me since it's been so long since I've had a video that was able to stay up here. Okay, so now I was just talking about how breast cancer originally was always just thought of as kind of a postmenopausal disease. Usually people in their 40s, 50s got it, and that's still depressing. I mean, that's a horrible thing. I'm in no way saying that those people's lives are worth any less than someone who's younger's life. But I do think that it's distressing to see that things seem to be trending in a way where just, how quickly cases are going up in certain age groups is drastically different. Really, the biggest disparities in breast cancer seem to be in age, because and that seems to be something that people aren't really talking about. And I don't know if it's because they don't know what to do about it or what, because like I was saying, breast cancer used to be more of a postmenopausal disease. Now there are just so many women who are getting it as young adults, so in their 20s and 30s. And very recently, um, there was a girl who was 17 who was diagnosed with breast cancer. 17. So when you think about that, really, that's almost like pediatric breast cancer. That's, words I never thought I'd be putting together. Pediatric breast cancer, I mean, you could call it that. I know 17 is close to being an adult, but still, just the fact that a teenager could end up with this horrible disease just is really distressing, I feel like, because I know that I was so worried for a long time after seeing just kind of the trends and like the ages of where breast cancer was going up the most and things like that, and how not very much attention seemed to be really put on like why is this happening, and I think I'll give things that I think that we need to look more into in other videos because I want to try to make this one almost over. But yeah, it's the fact that someone who's 17 now has been diagnosed with breast cancer is distressing. I've worried about my nieces and like how young are people going to start to get it, and now we're already seeing this. Like I thought that this wouldn't happen for at least a while, if ever, and unfortunately it's happening now. And so if teenagers are getting breast cancer, I mean that's just that there's a problem. There's something wrong in the environment with hormones or with endocrine disruptors that we really need to look into if that's a real problem. I know that just one case might not sound like a big deal, but when a disease crosses from basically only being in one age group, then to another, then to completely going into what would be considered a more childhood disease, even though I know she is almost an adult, that there's really something wrong there. And there's no way that you can say that things are getting better with breast cancer if 17-year-olds are getting it. I mean, I'm sorry, and if you say things are getting better when 17-year-olds are getting it, then that's kind of sick. And another thing that was just really disheartening when I found out about this was I was, seeing how people were reacting to her story. And I mean, I was glad to see that she was in good spirits and people were supportive, but they were only supportive in a sense of, oh, look at her, she's smiling, she's happy. Look, she can, be happy with breast cancer, and she's like 17, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, we need to just cut out this, like, oh, you always have to be smiling, you always have to be grateful. Yes, you should be grateful, and I mean, of course, I like to be happy more than I like to be sad. But don't like try to pressure some young girl into feeling like she has to always like have a smile on her face, or or she'll get the same like pile on of, and I've actually been told this had a case of the ungratefuls. Yeah, it was so ridiculous, but anyway, this really is a problem. And I mean, I remember when I found that out, I just was in tears like the whole night. So I was like, people act like this disease is no big deal. And here, it was so hard for me at 29, when I first got breast cancer that, thinking of getting it at 17, just, oh my God, I can't even imagine. That just is just so depressing to me. And I'm sure for anyone else who hears that. And I just hope that makes people start, if nothing else, start caring more. At least care for her. I know it's too late for me to be saved from this horrible disease, but please, we need to start doing something to make sure that this doesn't just get even worse, I mean, do we really want there to be, I mean, we don't want anyone to have cancer, but, breast cancer in teenagers, that's a real problem. That's distressing. And while I hate going straight from a topic like that that's so important to just, ending in here in a minute, I do think it'll be a topic that'll come up again, along kind of within different videos that have different subject matters as well. Because just the fact that I mean, people know so many younger adults now who have breast cancer now, it seems, yet no one seems to think it's weird. I don't get it. So I want to do kind of deeper dives into that as well. And then also on top of all that, I mentioned kind of earlier in this video how I started this channel largely due to seeing just how much, just the crazy stuff I didn't realize people with breast cancer had to go through and had to hear from other people. And I mean, the things that I brought up weren't even the worst things I've heard by any means. And you'd be surprised to hear, like, just things that supposed friends would say. And just, you know, the fact that, before I had breast cancer, I was taken very seriously when it came to a lot of different things. And now, a lot of times, if I try to say something, people just be like, oh, well, that's just because you have breast cancer. Like, as if somehow that's the only thing that I think about in my whole life. It's the only thing that affects me. No, I try to have as much of a life as I can. It's just that breast cancer is a huge part of my life. And I don't see much out there that actually would be comforting for someone like me or for the other people who, whenever I'm in different group sessions or talking with other people, or I've been in like writing groups for breast cancer patients and things like that, and people, they never want to say it to the whole group, of course, but they'll just be like, thanks for actually bringing that stuff up, and like for being real about it. So I know that there is a need for, if not me, someone like me, the need for more information out there, and there's a need to go beyond just like, oh, everyone just needs to be grateful and smile all the time because everything's better. It's not all better. It's really not. Take it from someone who's dying and who lost everything and is in constant pain. Even right now, I'm in pain. I don't think I'll ever get to experience not being in pain ever again. Okay, it is a big deal. And then just with the latest kind of virus crisis going on, people seem to be less, empathetic than ever. I mean, seeing people actually like laugh at people dying just because they think differently than you, or you don't like them, or they don't believe in it enough, or don't have the same views, or haven't gotten a booster or something. Like, I mean, if you ever find yourself laughing at someone else's death, you really need to step back a moment and really reevaluate, why am I laughing at this? Is this actually something funny? What would this make me capable of if I can laugh at death? If I don't even care about the sanctity of life? What does that mean? I think we all need to do that. I'm not trying to put other people down, because I'm just saying it's a serious problem if you're glad that other people are dying. It really is, especially if you're like laughing about it, making jokes. And I know it's easier with social media, it's more abstract, and so we don't really, you probably wouldn't laugh in that person's face as they're dying, but like the fact that you can make memes and jokes and everything about it, and people are just like, oh yeah, that's great, they deserve it, karma. No, we need to have more actual empathy for each other, not just for the people who are just like us. I mean, otherwise, what good is empathy if it's only towards people who are just like you? And then I'll just close out with saying that, a lot's been going on in my life, and there are many reasons why I've not been able to post lately. I actually didn't have a computer for 2 months, so that was part of it. But that was actually kind of a good time for me, because I kind of took myself away from all of the drama that you don't realize how much social media and stuff can like really drain you until you're completely away from it sometimes. And I mean, I'm gonna go back on it now and make sure to contact people more and everything, but it really helped me to like really look at myself more and to really think about what was going on, and also to, I mean, grateful, I'm talking about grateful, I don't know if grateful is the right word, but all the people who kind of deserted me, that I thought would always be there no matter what. In a way, I'm almost glad that they aren't such a huge part of my life now. I mean, I would still talk to people and would love to hear from them just because I do care about people, even the people who have done things that haven't exactly been nice to me. But it's kind of helped me to see that, I have allowed some people to kind of keep me down in a lot of ways. I do have some great friends out there. I realized too, though, that really will always be there because now things have been tested and they're amazing. And so I'm so grateful for those people. And I just I just want to make sure to actually get back on here and do some videos and make sure that I, bring up things that deal with breast cancer, but also bring up things that deal with just how we can be more empathetic to each other and how you can be better to yourself so that you can end up being better to other people. Because, I mean, if you're not good to yourself, you're not going to be good to other people. But that also doesn't mean that you should just like hide out in a room alone all the time, because the whole, oh, it's self-care thing. I think a lot of times we've kind of forgotten what real self-care is, because self-care is not just only sticking to yourself. You also need to be around other people, or at least try to have a sense of community and empathy towards each other. So that's basically a lot of what I wanted to bring to this channel to start with. And I really want to try to, be there for other people if there are any certain videos that you would like to see, whether they deal with different psychological constructs, whether they deal with breast cancer, whether they deal with illness, aging, whether they deal with just advice in general, whether they deal with my own experiences, anything. Just let me know. You can send me a message on here or put it in the comments, or you can just email me at empathagain@gmail.com. So basically, this page's name, but with at Gmail. And I just wanted to thank all the people who are still subscribed, even though it's been so long. Like I said, just a lot's been going on. I think a lot's been going on for everyone in the world right now. And I also, like I said, I had trouble getting a few videos to go up, and I also, that last medicine that I was on, that I did the unboxing for in the last video, which seems like forever ago, it gave me the worst side effects ever. I couldn't even walk for days. There were a lot of issues. And there was a while where my health was looking really, really, really bad, where I wasn't thinking about videos, I wasn't thinking about anything, I was just trying to survive. And my doctors thought that I would be dead this year. I don't know, like, if my body is just crazy or unreadable or something, because they're not thinking that now, but there is definitely cancer in my lungs that's still spreading, especially in my right lung. So I have this big lug of an oxygen tank that I sometimes have to use, and I'm trying to see if I qualify for a portable one, just because even, at the moment, I'm okay. I sometimes have to stop while walking, or I have to tell people, hey, I can't go as fast as I used to. But, I don't plan on, stopping or giving up or anything anytime soon. And also, one piece of good news was at least some of the cancer that was in part of my lymph nodes has gone down. They said it decreased by half, which I know nodes are small anyway, but that's still a huge deal. Because ever since I moved to this area, I hadn't gotten any good news when it dealt with cancer. None. But the medications I'm on now seem to be working well, and I tolerate them a lot better than, oh god, Xeloda is the name of it. I'm not going to make a whole video on Xeloda, but I will definitely talk about what some of the side effects were, because they scared the crap out of me. Like, I've never heard of these kind of side effects before or anything like it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here and for listening to me in this very kind of ragtag video. Other ones from now on, I really am trying. I'm going to try to make them better. And if you've watched some other videos, you know that some of them have been much better organized than this one. But once again, just please, if you can, just like the video, watch videos, share them to anyone who you think might need them, or just, just writing a comment helps me a lot to know what subjects are better to talk more about. Thank you everyone for watching, and like I said, please like, subscribe, and you're going to get a video again soon, not 9 months or 8 months or whatever it was.